All right, ABT Lockdown live, and it was only a matter of time before we got this man on the show, the genius behind the brim catchingest lure in Australia. I don't think anyone would argue with that. Steve Steer. Stevie, your lockdown in northern Tasmania there, mate, was a bit of a coronavirus hotspot. Tell us the coronavirus story from your part of the world.
Yeah, it was, Morgo. It's good to be here. Thanks for having me. And yeah, there was a bit of a corona outbreak in the northwest of Tasmania. So a couple of the hospitals come down with a heap of cases, and it broke out up there. So they locked the whole town of Burnie down, from what I know. And yeah, the lockdown and tried to get on top of it, which they managed to, and cleaned all the hospitals, and we're back in the swing of things again. So
it was funny, wasn't it? Tassie sort of, they pulled up the drawbridge and said, "Ha ha, we haven't got any coronavirus," and then all of a sudden you were ahead of the medal tally for a while there. So
yeah, I think it was a couple of people from the Ruby Princess, ended up in that hospital, and yeah, it just went from there. So
mate, isolation for Cranka Lures. You sort of work, out of home anyway. You don't commute a long way to a city office. I suppose isolation and non-isolation is sort of the same for you.
Yeah, it hasn't really changed a bit. I mean, Coxie's had to sort of relocate for a while there. So he went home and worked from home, which worked pretty good. Except he's got some young kids, gave him curry. But he's back now, so we're both working flat out. So it's been good. I've actually, enjoyed the bit of time with the family, the extra time with the family, the bit of time doing a bit of R&D and design stuff. It's sort of, with sales sort of dropping off a little bit through March there, it gave me a bit of time to focus on design and development and really tick some boxes. So yeah, I'm very happy.
Now, for anyone who's not in the industry, you know that while the lockdown happened, sales for everyone just went through the floor, and everyone sort of was panicking. But then as soon as relaxation started to lift a little bit, and maybe that after Easter period, the whole industry's been going nuts. I think there's been more people fishing and boating than ever before. And has that been reflected in your business? Are your sales going all right at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We took a real nosedive start of March, and it was scary. We were wondering, we had a production batch on the go that we paid deposits for, and that was getting manufactured. And I started second guessing whether we wanted that stock to come. I started sort of thinking, can we sell it? Our tackle store's going to take it up. The store's sales just dived in a big way really quickly, and then rebounded amazingly. And so it's been incredible the last 3 or 4 weeks. With this whole entire shipment that we've just had land is all gone. So it's I need more. So who knew? 1 minute you're sort of scared for your life, and the next minute you can't keep up. So yeah.
Now, we follow you on social media, Steezy, and you're always doing lots of quality assurance checks. So at the moment, these crabs, they get made in China, and obviously you're not happy to just take them out of the box and send them to the tackle store, mate. Every single one gets the Steezy inspection, does it?
Yeah, it does, mate. At the moment, we've just had a few issues over the years that we've had to keep an eye on. We had one batch come in with poor paint bond, and it went out to customers, and it really hurt us. We had a lot of returns and had to replace them, which is fine. We were more than happy with that. But yeah, it's something we didn't need. And, there's been various other little bits and pieces along the way that we just, wrong barcode on the wrong packet, a light in a heavy packet or a heavy in a light packet, and various other things. Just small issues that human error, it happens in mass production. And for me to sleep at night and be comfortable, I just want to know that I've inspected every item before it goes out the door. So yeah, we still do 100% QA checks on every product that comes in the door. So,
well, sounds like a huge effort, mate. Now, when people pull their cranker crab out and tie it on, they throw it out, they catch fish. We all know that a cranker crab straight out of the box is a fish catching machine. What I notice a lot of people do is once they finish fishing with that crab, they'll hang it up on the rod runner or they'll put it down on the deck. I've become very anal in the last couple of years about really looking after those legs on the crab, looking after the claws on the crab, because if those legs bend up and it starts spiraling down, brim don't like that as much, do they?
No, that's true, mate. It is important to store them properly. And when we ship out orders to our customers directly, we put a little card in the box to tell them about storage, the best way to store and what have you. So it is important. We like to keep our crabs in good order for that reason. You know, they do fall straight and, you know, sort of they don't twist in sink. So yeah, it can put fish off at times. Look, I've seen people out there with the most bent up, twisted up legs, and they're still catching fish on them. At times, it doesn't really matter. Other times, it can. So when it's finicky, it's really important.
I remember my light bulb moment for it was fishing a Gippsland tournament, which is an arena I've come to love nowadays. But I knew these fish were in these docks, and I was fishing for I caught a few fish, and then I changed crabs, and I had one and it wasn't sinking properly, and it took me a long time. It took me maybe 90 minutes to realize that this thing was just spiraling down. And I went, oh, that's wrong. So I took it off and I put a new one on, and within one or two casts, I started to catch fish again. And it was a light bulb moment for me. Why did I spend all this money coming down here and all this effort finding the fish, and then I was putting up with a substandard crab? So nowadays, for me, I make sure that the crab's always hooked on the rod properly. It's always positioned so that the legs are in the air. But if you do end up bending the legs, there are things that you can do, aren't there, to get it back to life, mate? Run us through some of the things you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. If you get bent legs, it's real easy fix. You don't have to change legs. We do offer replacement legs, and you can buy replacement legs to change them out. It's not an easy job. They're glued in, so it's a bit of a pain to change the legs. So you are best to try and fix them in the crab. And the easiest way is to just run your sink full of straight hot water, 60 degrees, roughly 60, 70 degrees sort of water temp. You can do it in the kettle if you like, but fill your sink with, 6 inches of water, and then drop your crabs in for about a minute. They'll soften. You'll just see the legs start to relax. And what happens is once the heat gets into that material that we've used for the legs, it returns back to its original sort of molded shape. And then if you quickly grab it out of the sink and hold them straight while it cools, it will stay in that set position that you've held them in. So that's how you fix your legs. You can take a totally destroyed crab and turn it into a good fishable crab in no time. So.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing. I find myself nowadays at tournaments with it's like I've got a hot cup of tea in a tea bag, but it's really a crab that I'm dipping in the water there and fixing it up. And of course, Jamie McEwen taught me, if you've got crabs that you think are the wrong color, there's nothing at all technical about changing the color of a crab. He gets the cardboard, he puts the crab on it, he gets the paint, he goes, crab's legs, hooks and everything, dries it off a bit. There you go, Morgo. Custom painted crab, and they like eating it.
Here's an example. So, this is just one. I just quickly grabbed a bit of orange paint and just squirted on one of our, and it sticks, particularly if you use the Tamiya hobby paint.
Yep.
You can get it in all different colors, but it's designed for plastic.
Yep.
So it bonds to plastic really well. And, the original sort of handmade ones that I started fishing with many, many years ago were all hand painted that way. And I use that Tamiya paint on a lot of my prototyping, and it works a treat. It's really good. You can make whatever color you like. So if you're looking for that edge, you want to pimp your own crabs and just get that edge in a comp, you might roll a rock and find a crab that, we don't do in a color. You can mix and match and spray them up, and it works extremely well. So gives you flexibility.
That's it, mate. The other thing that's really important, I think, to have in your crab box is the handful of those spare hooks. And when you sent them I got some from you originally. You sent me a little box each of left and right claws, and I'm thinking, what's going on here? Left, right, they all look the same. Tell us the difference. Is there a difference, and why is it important?
Yeah, there is a difference. So when we make our claws, they're a laser cut foam. So you have your claw like this. On a left, it is tied onto the hook this way. on a right, it's flipped and it's tied onto the hook. You put them on opposite is that they don't hang straight and they don't hang right. They want to sort of do this or this. So it's important that you get a left and a right. So whenever we send out replacement claws, we mark them left and right. Unfortunately, we just haven't got to the stage. We've been so busy that we haven't been able to actually package them in a left and right sort of blister, which is what we want to do eventually, so that people can recognise, with a little picture of a crab, the claw on the left, the claw on the right, so they know exactly which one goes on where. But it is important. We find it important. I'm sure there's people out there that, are doing it wrong and still catching fish on them. So.
That's right. That's right. It's always, you think you might be doing it wrong, but the brim are telling you that you're doing it right. That's the ultimate litmus test. Now, one of the other, if we're talking about how to destroy a crab, like, we can destroy the legs, we can destroy the claws with getting them torn apart by fish. I'm sure I'm not the only person in Australia that is not as good a caster as Steezy, and I have pelted mine into a bridge pylon, and I've lost the bottom weight for it, mate. Tell us any advancements you got in making sure that tungsten weight stays on there.
Yeah, look, I'm excited to say that has been a little issue. Our first batch that came in, the very first original Cranka crabs, the entire shipment had a design fault in them. That we had glued the base plate into place, but our manufacturer had sat their little glue pot on their heater through winter, and the glue had gone off. And then they glued all the base plates, and the base plates weren't glued because the glue had gone off. And the first batch, we had base plates coming off left, right, and centre. So it was an issue. So at that stage, we decided we had to overcome that issue. We couldn't have that happen as often, at least. So we totally redesigned. We retooled. We started from the ground up. And, that first shipment, we had to replace many of those crabs. They were in a different packet than they are now. So we knew exactly what they were. And then when we retooled and relaunched and redesigned, we put it in a new packet. So we knew which were old, which were new. We totally redesigned it. But since then, we've still had an issue, obviously, occasionally where people, if they repeatedly cast into bridge pylons or jetties and boat hulls and so forth, it happens. We all do it. We all bash, repeatedly whack it into stuff. You're going to break bibs. You're going to break things off it. So that's what happens with our weights. Occasionally you get them smashed off, and it's through impact. It's amazing the impact that you get from a lure on a cast. So what we've done now, we've got a new design, and we've been working on it for years. We've finally come up with a new way. And again, we've started from the ground up. We've got a new crab that we're going to launch onto the market in the near future that has we've fixed that problem. You can bash it into brick walls all day and not have that weight come off. We've also changed the leg material so that we don't have that issue with the bending legs in the boxes, in the tackle trays, in the storage. So we've sort of thought about all the little things that people mightn't like about our crabs, and we've tried to rectify them and make them better. And we've put another little unique feature in amongst them, so it should it's a better product, it's a better finished product, and it's a stronger, more resilient product for people in the field. So
there you go, mate. You've all heard it here first on ABT Lockdown Live. The first little snippet of information that Steezy's letting at the door, that he's going to make the crabs, which are such a magnificent lure, you're going to make them even more angler friendly, mate. You're only going to you're going to have a sore back for all the pats on the back for that one, I reckon.
We're trying to do our best, mate. It's a hard game, and when you're in the hands of other people manufacturing your product, it's difficult. You do have issues that you don't expect. So it's a learning curve. We're learning as we go, and we're listening to anglers. That's the main thing. We need the feedback. We want the feedback. We want people to tell us what's going on with our product, because it's all about making the best we can, and we're doing our best. So any feedback's good feedback. good, bad, otherwise, we love it, and we want to improve on it. So
That's awesome, mate. I got one last question for you, and I know your lures have now caught, thousands of fish all over the world, lots of different species. On that Cranka crab ad that we run on the show here, it shows you all the different sorts of species that have all come in. But I want you to tell me what capture, and I'll get you to send a photo of it to Nicole to put as an overlay here. What is the most extraordinary capture, or one that's made you most proud, or where you've just looked at it and just gone, holy shit bags, look at my lures. What have they caught there?
oh wow, there's been many actually. I have been very surprised by the species, or the number of species globally that have been caught on our crabs to date. But I guess the first permit was an eye opener. It really, that's what I had hoped and dreamed of catching on our crabs.
Yep.
I've never done it myself. It's a bucket list species that I want to target on our crab, and for Alyssa Faulkner caught the first one that I knew of, and it was a great fish. She sent through pictures, and that was on the 50 mil crab. So our small original 50 mil crabs, which aren't obviously designed ideally for big permit, but yeah, she managed to land this fish, and I was wrapped with that capture. It really, it made me think, wow, that's pretty special. So
yeah. Look, they are a special lure, mate, and I know personally I've used them in all parts of the world, and wherever you fish them, people just go, that is an amazing lure. When you take it to America, and the Americans have seen everything, and they look at a bait and go, that is a nicely designed bait, that you've really kicked a goal, mate. So thank you very much for taking the time to join us on ABT Lockdown Live today, mate. Good work in Tasmania for squashing those coronavirus cases down, and we look forward to be tournament fishing with your product again as soon as possible.
Look, I'd just like to say thank you to every tournament angler out there for the support. It means the world to us. We can't do what we do without your support. So truly, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, Stacey.
Thanks, Morgo.